like a slippery fish. Hold on tight with a prayer and a wish. Love, no better gift can be given or found. Love's what makes this whole world turn round.
Well, good evening, everybody. For those that are joining us, thanks for being here. My name is Justin Anderson, and I'm the Associate Artistic Director at Aurora Theatre and the director of Barbara's Blue Kitchen, written by our dear friend Marie Fisher. And we have two special guests with us tonight, the stars of this show, Chloe Kay, who plays Barbara Jean et al., and Skyler Brown, who plays the DJ, and a little cameo appearance of Leroy, the cousin cook. For those of you that haven't seen the show yet, it is streaming now on Vimeo through October the 4th, and you can get information at auroratheatre.com. Highly encourage you to give it a look-see, but I think you'll still enjoy this conversation whether you've seen the show or not. But I wanted to take a few moments to just chat with the actors, and now that we've had a little bit of space away from the process and from the video capture of this, you know, having seen some of the product, where you're at with it and how it's affecting you, and thinking back on what it took for us to get to this point. As we all know, we're just in the great pivot of 2020 when it comes to live theater. So I'd love to just hear your thoughts about the process as you see it now, and maybe thinking about how it was then, and you know, what it feels like to watch yourself on screen. Because we often don't get to do that. Certainly as, you know, as theater performers, we don't get to watch our own performance. So Chloe, why don't you tell us a little bit of what you're thinking right
now? Yeah, so I'm just in a place where I'm feeling really excited. I'm feeling really proud of it. It was a bit of a intimidating beast, you know, going into it. It was just sort of like, oh my gosh, a two-person show and we're going to film the whole thing and I've got 30 pages of dialogue to memorize in 2 weeks. What's happening? But by the time we got to the weekend where we filmed, I felt really good about everything and had a ton of fun. It was honestly just really fun to make, truly. And now, after these past few weeks of waiting, I watched it when did I watch it? I watched it on Saturday, which was really exciting because, like Justin said, we never get to watch our own shows. So it was like, this is a crazy experience, but it's been really fun. And the best part for me is that all my family is spread out around the country. I've got family in Iowa, where my uncle actually sent me a picture of like my cousins and my aunt and uncle and my 89-year-old grandma in a room all watching it. And my mom has watched it twice and she's in California. So that's been really cool. Hearing my family's reactions has been special. And yeah, I'm feeling excited and just grateful to have done it.
Fantastic. Skyler?
Yeah, it's that same kind of thing. While like, there's almost a beauty in not having to watch it, you know, like in terms of like when we do theater in real life, there's a beauty of, oh, I can just do it. I don't have to watch and critique myself, which is great. But with something like this, it's a whole different beast, and something that I can't even imagine what, you know, like the Robert Downey Jr.'s of the world and things like that go there. And, you know, you sit in this massive theater and you watch yourself. I would just be terrified. So it's really cool having this sort of experience and being able to do something like this. It's been really, really cool hearing the feedback from friends and family. Like Chloe said, I've got family all over America as well. And being able to see some of them who have not, you know, been able to come and actually sit in a theater and see me perform, to actually have that opportunity to in the comfort of their own home. And that's really, really cool. And being able to hear the feedback with that, everybody seems to love it. And while there were times when you're just sitting there, like Chloe said, where you just get the script and you're like, wait a minute, we're going to do what in how long? And it's really cool to be able to have gotten there And it was a pleasure. It like, I'm just like Chloe said, by the end of it, it was just being able to be in the room with everyone was just magical. It was just really, really wonderful to be able to do that and live in these rooms and in these people. So I thoroughly enjoyed the process and working with everyone. And when Barbara's Blue Kitchen 2 is ready, we'll be there.
When Leroy takes over
exactly
the
Leroy's revenge.
He's poisoned all the food. He did it through the pies. That's how it happened.
Exactly.
Well, it's a special relationship that the both of you have with us at Aurora, because you are alumni of our apprentice program. And so we are so lucky to have had the time that we had during those years to spend together, but also the fact that we've been able to maintain working relationships thereafter, and honestly, really trying to uphold our endeavor to make sure that you always feel like you're part of our artistic family, and providing opportunities as they come along, and feeling like you have a home base here in Atlanta, and wherever your ventures may take you, that we want to be able to offer that support. So when we were trying to sort of figure out how to make this pivot towards digital offerings for this fall, and this piece came down the pike, and Carol was the first to immediately think of, Chloe and Skyler for sure. And it just absolutely made sense. So I'm glad that it all worked out. And part of the cool thing is, I mean, not only are the two of you great actors and wonderful singers, but you were both like legit instrumentalist musicians in your own right. Now you might categorize yourself in a different way, or like, have like, well, I sort of plucked a little bit, or whatever that is.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is, the two of you have sort of an additional musical life outside of the theater. So I'm most excited to talk about that tonight, and to give you a little bit of an opportunity to tell us a little bit about the kind of music that you play. Both of you, I understand, write to a degree for sure. So I'll ask some questions about that. So yeah, maybe tell us a little bit about like who you are, what do you do? Is it in a solo context? Is it the context of a band? Has it evolved? Has it shifted? Is anything that you think might be of interest? And then I'll swing it around and let one of you play one of your songs in just a second. Who wants to go first?
Skyler, you start this time.
Okay, Skyler.
Okay.
Tell us what you do in the land of the musics.
Like my name is Skyler Brown, and I have been playing music I picked up a trumpet randomly in 6th grade. Both of my parents, my mom played piano in the Air Force band when my parents met in the Air Force. My mom played piano in the Air Force band. My dad has been singing all his life. And growing up in the church as he did, he was always singing and everything that he could. One of the best singers that I've ever been able to hear. So it just became, everybody knew that me and my brother were going to be musical in some way. And 6th grade, we were walking down the halls. I remember it like it was yesterday. It's so weird. We were walking down the halls, and you just walked up and you signed up for what elective you wanted. And at the time, I had never played an instrument, sang in the car with my parents, but no instruments. And randomly was just like, you know what, I want to join band. I'll play trumpet. Why not? So trumpet was my first instrument and my real like segue into music. And the only reason that I can read music now as a singer musician is because I picked up the trumpet way back when. But sophomore year of high school, I wanted to learn a cool instrument. Trumpets, I thought it was cool, but nobody else did. So sophomore year of high school was really, really revolutionary for me, because that was this year I picked up the guitar and the year that I started theater. I took a drama class on a whim to fill a credit. So ever since I was 15, which goodness was 20 years ago now. So I've been playing guitar and acting professionally for 20 years now, which is super, super cool. 10 years ago, like I said, my brother also he came up playing trumpet right after me, and then he picked up the bass guitar a couple years, like maybe a year after I picked up the regular guitar, the electric guitar. And 10 years ago, we started a band together. We call it My Brother Skyler.
No.
The goofiest name.
Because you're the oldest.
Because
right?
I'm the oldest. Exactly. But guarantee you, there's not another My Brother Skyler in the world, which is
That's
super
true.
cool. And we've been playing that. Him and our drummer, another guy we went to high school with, are both very reggae influenced. And I'm just straightforward rock and roll. So basically, we're a Sublime cover band right now. But people really, really enjoy Sublime cover bands right now. But essentially, we just play all of the songs that, you know, people in my generation and our generation grew up with. So all of the songs from the 90s, big hits from the 2000s, everybody that's, because we mostly play in bars and whatnot, so everybody that's in bars and is able to drink, of that drinking age. But we decided maybe 6, 7, 8 years ago that, you know, no matter what kind of music you like, you'll leave a My Brother Skyler show liking at least one song that we play.
Nice.
So while of course we have Sublime, we also have Blink 182. We do a Dr. Dre cover, you know, so we have a huge gamut of things. One of my favorite things to do is right after we play something like Rage Against the Machine, I'll bust out Party in the USA by Miley Cyrus. And everybody's like, what is this band? But I love being able to.
It moves at the speed of your synapses, right?
Exactly.
Where, you know.
That's exactly right. And it's been a lot of fun. People always have a good time at our show. We like, this will be the name of our album when we record it. I guarantee you that we're going to say it's a major in entertainment, minor in music. My brother said that to me one day, and I was like, that's it.
Perfect. That's totally it.
Because that's what we do. If we're on stage, we're having a blast. My brother's just like me. We're absolutely the life of the party, and we're just going to go up there and have a good time. And it's been a wonderful 10 years to be able to do this, for sure.
Are you based as a band here in Atlanta, or I know you're from North Carolina originally, so how does that work out with all the different instrumentalists?
It was something because I moved here from North Carolina, like you said, 5 years ago now. And when I first moved, I thought we were going to break up. You know, I left the band and they were going to have a new singer. But it turned out that it just worked out that I would be able to request off of work and everything like that. Because both my brother and our drummer both still live in North Carolina. So we're based out of North Carolina, we still say. I just drive a lot.
Yeah.
But yeah, so based out of North Carolina, we play Greensboro, High Point, Winston-Salem is the big three that it's called the Triad of North Carolina. We'll get over to Raleigh. We'll get over to Charlotte. We've played a couple shows down here since I've moved down here, which has been really, really cool. All of these people that I met, you know, through Aurora, all of you guys that I've met. We played a show with Chloe, which was really incredible. And I love being able to do that. People know me as an actor. He's in a band, he plays guitar, and then they go and see us and they're like, oh, he's in a band. He plays guitar. So, which is really, really cool to be able to open people up and for them to experience another side of my heart, you know, for the first time, which I absolutely love.
Great. Thanks for sharing that.
Of course.
Chloe?
Yeah. So, how to describe? So I would say I'm a singer-songwriter first and foremost. It started, well, kind of forever. I've just always been kind of like a weird little writer kid who like wrote bad poetry in her journals since I was a young child, before I can remember, honestly. So I started writing songs in high school and have a best friend named Shane, who is an amazing guitarist, and we would write together in high school and recorded one song, which I still have an MP3 of, which is, honestly, it's not that bad. I'm pretty proud of it still. It's very angsty. And then I went to college and I moved here to Georgia. Shane stayed in Arizona, where I'm from, and I was like, oh, well, if I'm going to keep writing songs, I need to figure out how to accompany myself in this dorm room. And so I stole my brother's guitar over Christmas break, my freshman year. He has others, don't worry about it. And now it's mine, same guitar.
Nice.
Wow.
And I started writing a lot of songs in my dorm in college, and that just became a thing, that became a constant for me. And it's been a tool of self-exploration, self-expression. I put out an album, actually, okay, well, I'm getting ahead of myself. So what happened was I was writing by myself. I was playing a lot of like coffee shop, open mic type situations, which I still do. And then those boys that I used to play with in high school ended up moving to Nashville, just a few hours away. And during my apprenticeship year, which was 2018 at the Aurora, I, dropped a line, or it might've been the year before. It was the year before. I dropped a line to them and I was like, hey guys, would you maybe want to play on an album with me if I came up to Nashville and recorded? And they were all super up for it. And we ended up recording, and then I finished the vocals during my apprenticeship year. And then June of 2018, right after I finished the apprenticeship, was when I put out my first album with them. So, and now we play as a band together. We played with Skyler at that show at Smith's Old Bar, which is a favorite venue here in Atlanta. And have done a small tour around the Southeast, and currently working on album number 2. So I would say my sensibility as a musician, it's a lot of different things. I'm an indie gal. I love all things indie, which is a large sort of, there are a lot of subgenres within the big indie umbrella, but vocally, I have a jazz heart. Ella Fitzgerald, I think is how I taught myself how to sing, was by listening to the Ella Fitzgerald that I found on the Christmas CD when I was younger. And then, you get into high school and it's like, whoa, Patsy Cline just rocks your world when that first boy breaks your heart, and you're just like, crazy. So I love those old-timey singers that really, you can hear what they're saying, they enunciate their words, they feel what they're saying. And I think that my musical theater background, as being my other passion, kind of fed directly into that, where I like to write songs and mean what I'm saying, whether or not I'm feeling it right there in that moment. I felt it when I wrote it. So that's important to me, I would say.
Fantastic. That's really great. So is that how you would describe, like, maybe not a perfect song, but a song that you really enjoy, whether it's one to listen to or one to write?
So I definitely listen to lyrics first, though that's not like, I have a lot of favorite songs that I don't even know what they're saying, honestly. So it's not a must, but if the lyrics hit home, that is just like, all of my favorite songs, you can hear the lyrics. And for me, the perfect song is when the emotion of the song, whatever it is they're saying, whatever they're singing about, it matches up perfect. Like when you get that song where the rhythm feels like it, the rhythm feels like the beating heart, and the guitars feel like this expansive breath, and the lyrics hit you right where they need you to, like when all of that lines up, that is, to me, that'll just put me right on my butt. I'm like,
That's great. That's great. Okay, well then, in that vein, would you be willing to share a song with us right now?
sure, I would love to. Let me take a sip of my LaCroix here.
Do it. I once knew of a watermelon that lived next door. I've smelled strawberries before. You haven't seen this meme about LaCroix? It's like, I think a banana passed by in a truck one day.
Okay, I was like, what am I missing?
The hint, the faint hint of the
mild
fruit.
hint.
Yeah. So you get used to it after a while.
You do. I am scoffing at the thing that I enjoy. So
I'm going to play a song that is on the album that is already out. It's called Inner Child. And I won't say much about it before I play it, but it was a song I wrote about dealing with uncertainty and kind of holding on to your sense of self. So I thought it might be a nice one to play. So this is Inner Child. I wish that I
had the answer. I wish that I knew the reason. I wish I had what I'm after. And I wish that I wasn't sad all the time. I wish I knew when that was going away. Can you give me an exact date? 'Cause I've been walking all the time. Walk, walk, stop thinking, just put my head down. Cover miles, cover anything unsavory up with a smile. What do I have to protect my inner child? To protect my inner child. I hope that I'm on a journey. I hope that this is all worth it. I hope I prove myself worthy. And life has a way of unfolding. And that's the idea I'm holding. That's the idea I'm holding. 'Cause I've been walking all the time. Walk, walk, stop thinking, just put my head down and cover miles. Cover anything unsavory up with a smile. What I have to protect my inner child? To protect my inner child. And I'm holding up the mirror, trying to make a few things clearer. Look deep enough to see her, but I lose focus. It's clear there's been a battle, but I don't know where she's at. Moving aside debris and rubble, and I can't find her. And I am moving through this wasteland, imagining what used to stand. Memories become artifacts. And now I'm walking all the time. Walk, walk, stop thinking, just put my head down and cover miles. Cover anything unsavory up with a smile. What do I have to protect my inner child? To protect my inner child.
Yes. Oh,
It's beautiful.
that's so good.
Thank you.
There's something that's very like siren-like about that. There's almost
Thank you.
it's melancholy and like a lullaby at the same time.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I love that. I am a little melancholic, I have to admit. Not really loud, but when I start writing songs.
Well, I would say probably many of us, artists, theater artists, maybe all artists, have a little bit of that penchant, for sure.
Absolutely.
Well,
The whole thing.
yeah, I totally agree. Let's pivot to Skyler. I would love to hear for you, Skyler, what makes a good song, if not a perfect song, or something that really resonates with you, whether it's something that you're listening to or something that you might be writing, or maybe it's the same for both.
Yeah, I'm almost the exact opposite as Chloe. I, in my mind, I'm a terrible lyricist. I'm a terrible lyricist. And that is, I think, mostly because I don't really read. I started an Audible account. So I've been like reading the past year and a half, 2 years. And I sitting down to read a book, I can't do it. So having it in my ear while I'm driving to work, working out, things like that, that's how I'm just now starting to be able to read. But when I hear a song on the radio, when I put in a new CD, listening to a new whatever, I hear the music. I hear the instruments. I hear what's going on. I hear the notes that the voice is hitting. I don't hear the words that they're saying, which maybe, I don't know if that's just how my brain is wired or if that's just what I was listening to when I was first doing it. I don't know how that happened. I remember in college, I was dating a girl and we were listening to a Mumford and Sons song, as a matter of fact. And I started like, oh man, I love how the bass sort of mirrors the drums on this one section. I don't know what I said, something like that, where I was picking it apart. And she was like, what do you mean? How it's just a song? It's like, no, what do you, like, there's they're playing together, the drums and the bass. She's like, no, I just hear the song. And I was like, wow, that was just something that I had never really considered, that something could be, that people could hear it differently, I guess. And it's that same kind of thing when me and my brother will be driving somewhere and his ear, by playing bass, is now tuned to hear so much lower than I do. We'll be listening to a song. He'll be like, oh, did you hear that? And I'll be like, no, hear what? And he'll rewind it and turn it up. And I'll hear this super faint, really low, like, I'll be like, holy cow, that was awesome. He was like, wasn't it? I was like, how did you hear that? Actually thinking about it. And I mentioned to you guys earlier that we've got this little songwriting group going on right now. And we had the argument, what makes a song great, or a truly great song doesn't need a huge orchestration, doesn't need huge arrangements, or does it add to it? If you can play a song by yourself on acoustic guitar, it should still be just as good, which, yes, absolutely. However, also, there is something to say with really being able to sway people with the instrumentation and everything like that. And so some of the songs that I write have maybe 20 words to them, because I've got so much, I'm writing music all of the time. I'm writing lyrics when I have to, which comes in a pinch. My brother Skyler has some original songs that, have lyrics, but they're not, Chloe genius. I hate her.
Can I just add something to what you're saying real quick?
Please.
I think as you've been talking, it just clicked in my head. A great song makes you feel something.
Yeah.
Right?
I love that.
Whatever that may be, and sometimes it's lyrics and sometimes it's, you hear an orchestra and it makes you totally swell, thank you, inside, but you can also hear an acoustic rendition of something and break down crying or do a little jig. I mean, there are many different emotions to feel.
You're absolutely right. And I wasn't, didn't mean to like call you out on it or whatever, but
No,
I know, but it's right. So yeah, a lot of the songs that I write are, super sweeping epics, so to speak, but that are very, very minimalist with the lyrics, but they all mean something. Like Chloe said, they mean something to me when I wrote them. And sometimes I just had to, I'll play, like what I'll do sometimes is I'll play something and I'll be like, what does this song make you feel? And a friend of mine will be like, oh, I don't know, I kind of feel sad, it sounds like a sad song. I'll be like, okay, right, sad lyrics, okay, something silly like that. I was trying to force myself over quarantine to actually write some real stuff, and maybe like start with lyrics, really challenge myself, start with a lyric and then write the song to it. And I went through a really, really bad breakup 4 years ago that really was like, no, these are the words that this song needs to have. But for the most part, in the start of me as a songwriter, so to speak, it was, here's a really cool riff, here's a really cool sounding song, a really cool chord progression, da da be do be, I don't know. So like, so that's kind of my songwriting process right now.
Great. Would you like to share one of your songs with us, whether it's an original or a cover? It's completely up to you.
Yeah, this is one of the ones that, I don't know. this was one that really meant a lot to me when I first was writing it. This is one that basically this was the song that made me realize, like, I can hear so clearly the band on this one that it really made me go, no, I can't do solo stuff or whatever. I need my guys. I can't just get like a bassist and a drummer. I need my guys because I can hear them on this so well. And it's about heartbreak, like all songs in the world are. So let's see. And I've got the lyrics here because I can't remember anything. So we'll see how this goes. The sun's gonna rise, the moon's gonna fall. Rivers run loud, trees grow tall. Life goes on, the world is still gonna spin. So why can't I move? Who am I without you? What am I without you? Where am I without you? People grow old, babies will crawl. The wind still blows after all. Life goes on, the world is still gonna spin. So why can't I move? Who am I without you? What am I without you? Where am I without you? You get to move, you get to live. How do I move? How do I live? Why do you get to come out unscathed? How can I not look for you in everything I do? Who am I without you? Who am I without you? Who am I without? Who am I without? Who am I without you?
Yes. Oh,
Something like that.
yeah. Yeah, I love the contrast between the tenor of the verses
Yeah.
and then the where it goes with the chorus, because it again it's a little bit of that that melancholy, certainly like that heartbreak in the verse, right? And then something that's a little bit more like pounding and aggressive, or like demanding an answer, kind of maybe in the chorus.
Exactly.
Yeah.
When we, because that's one that I think we debuted that at the show I played with Chloe. As a matter of fact, was the first time we played that one live, and that's exactly how it is during the core or during the verse. It's nice and cool, nice and smooth, and gets to that.
And, yeah.
It's a lot of fun to play, and I was really, really proud when I came up with it.
Nice. Well, I am in awe because I am not a songwriter. I simply am a consumer and an appreciative person when it comes to music. And so I'm curious if there was, so you both have your own sensibilities and stylings right now. Is there some facet of music, whether it's an instrument or like the way to sing a certain thing, that you've always like wished you could do, or you know what I mean, where you're like, man, I know I write this kind of music, or I know this is what this is like my wheelhouse, but I kind of wish I could write arias, or like, you know what I mean? Like, is there anything in your because for me, I always tell people, if I could go back and find a different lane in artistry, I would want to be a dancer, because I'm fascinated by like the movement of bodies. I don't know. That might be an odd question.
I mean, my
I
answer,
absolutely.
Go ahead,
Chloe.
we both started. My answer is
Right.
honestly pretty simple. I can't say that I wish that I knew how to write a different kind of music, because honestly, I've written a lot of my songs I mean, the ones that I've put out have sort of a through line, but a lot of the songs I've written, which I have an entire book full and am now in my second journal through. So I've written well over 100 songs, probably closer to 150 at this point. They're not all of them are ever going to see the light of day. But I've written a lot and kept them all, and they're not all the same. They come out however I feel them. And the thing for me in terms of my process is that I really try to keep it for me when I'm writing. Like, I think that's what I mean when I talk about the lyrics being so important, is not necessarily because I think lyrics as a component of a song are the most important, but when I'm writing, it's really simply because I have to get this out. It's come into my head and I need to get it out. And I am unattached to whether or not it's good, whether or not I'm going to share it. You know, sometimes I'll play things at open mics just to give it a try and then leave them. But it's always for me at the beginning. I really don't, I try not to create with an end in my mind. Create with what I want the song to sound like. It's like, no, I'm writing this because I just need to say this in this way, and this is how it feels good to sing it usually. So I can't say that I wish I wrote a different kind of music, because I do think that if I wanted to write really any kind of music, in theory I could, but I wish I could play the piano.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's my long-winded answer. You know, a few chords in music theory class in college getting my undergrad.
Right.
But I just, at this point, I'm like, when I have children, they will all learn the piano immediately upon turning 5, and will not quit.
And Carol will support that for sure.
Because, yes,
exactly.
Once you play the piano, you can pretty much get the hang of anything else. I mean, you know, just in terms of the bass. So I wish I had that. But what can you do? My mom let me quit violin when I was 6.
That's fantastic. How about you, Skyler? Maybe not necessarily wishing to write something else, but is there something maybe in that vein that's like, oh gosh, I'm fascinated by this aspect of music or this instrument that I don't know how to do or tackle or whatever, but maybe one day?
Maybe, for me, it's vocal runs and hearing somebody really being able to sing up and down all over the place. If I don't like, I played a parking lot cabaret a couple nights ago, and if I don't write down like every idea that I have, you know, to make a song my own, to not like sing it exactly like the radio is, I have to like think about it and go da da da, and then instead of da da, I'll go da da, and okay, that'll be good. I can't improv vocal runs and vocal ability like some of my friends can, and I don't know how they do it. I'm sure it's just lots of practice and it just comes naturally. And that's what people will say when I pick up a guitar and I essentially do the same thing, because it's incredible to me. It is absolutely incredible to actually hear somebody with an extreme vocal proficiency that I just do not have that skill. So that's like the big one for sure. But I can say one of my friends used to joke, and he would say that, Skyler, your biggest strength as a guitarist is that you can play with any style of music. We would go to his house and just sort of play around, waiting for everybody to get there for the party, and we would just sort of play around, and he would try and stump me with, like, putting on like I don't know, like a flamenco song or a mariachi, and I would just be right there with it, with adapting to the style. And he's like, that's really kind of incredible, and you probably don't realize it yet of how good and cool that is that you can do that, but you can go with any band in the world and fit right in, and that's really a gift in and of itself, which is super cool
that's more than cool. That's pretty tremendous.
Yeah. But
okay, if here's a question: is there a song that is out there in the ether that you wish you had written?
Oh my God, yes. So many.
Too many.
Yeah.
Name one of them for me.
It's funny. I was actually having almost this exact conversation with one of my good friends from college about a song that is so simple that anyone could write it, but B, so simple that no one would write it. And it's the Hey There Delilah by the Plain White T's is infuriating because anyone could write that song. There's a couple songs by Green Day that you're just like, this is and it's just frustrating. But I could name about 12 Beatles songs right now that I would love to say that I had wrote. I would love to, but I'm not. I think that Paul and those three main songwriters are top 5 easy of the best lyricists who have ever lived. But there is a song by Coldplay off X and Y. I think that's their 3rd album. And it's my favorite song of all time. It's called Till Kingdom Come. When I get my first tattoo, that will be tattooed somewhere on my body at some point. For you, I'd wait till kingdom come. They wrote the song with the intention of having Johnny Cash sing on it, but he died before he could. And it's just a beautifully written song. But again, it's kind of simple, but I absolutely adore it. And I would love to say that I wrote that song. And then the easy answer is Bohemian Rhapsody.
I think many of us would want to claim that. How about you, Chloe?
It changes for me all the time. I'm an avid music consumer. I'm a big Spotify groupie, and I mean, say what you want about the scary algorithms, but Spotify's algorithm is awesome because I have discovered so many artists that I never would have, and I discover one a month that has written a song that blows my mind that I'm like, damn it. The one that's popping into my head, I'm gonna name a new one and an old one. The modern artist that's popping in my head, there's an artist, actually I think she's from Chicago, but she's based out of Atlanta now, named Baby Rose. Highly recommend her album. Her entire album, honestly. Okay. I'm gonna just go and say but yeah, that's one of the best albums I've heard in a while. There's a lot of really great female artists out there. Phoebe Bridgers, Sharon Van Etten, Leanne LaHavas is amazing. If you don't know any of these names, go look them up because they're so great. Angel Olsen. Okay, so anyway, all of those women have songs I wish that I had written. But if there's like one song that I know, it was his to give to the world, not mine, but it reduces me to tears every time, and he's everything to me, my favorite Jew. Leonard Cohen's So Song Marianne.
Yes.
Like, speaking of simple but yet so powerful, that line, laugh and cry and laugh about it all again, like that's just I'm trying to get to that level of being able to say something so clearly yet so profoundly with not a lot of bells and whistles, just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's the economy of language, right?
Absolutely.
And I think that is something that is so wildly difficult to like concentrate into a song.
And I just have to think that the only way to really strategize, if you can, at trying to write something like that is to write as honestly as you can. There's an Ernest Hemingway quote that says, write hard and clear about what hurts. I think about that sometimes. Maybe what hurts, maybe just what's on your mind, but hard and clear. I like that. Just write it, just say it. Don't try to,
Well, part of it is that call and sort of journey for all of us to lean into and discover our own authenticity and vulnerability. And I think until we can sort of tap into that and be honest with ourselves, it's very difficult. And I'm sure we've all been in this situation, whether it's writing a song or trying to write a poem or even just a letter, even in like an email to somebody, when you know you're masking and you're like, here is the exterior version of something because I don't want to show you what's really inside. I think that's, I think once you can figure out how to lean into that and use it as an asset. You
can write a paragraph, but what you're saying is, I'm sad.
Correct. Yes. Correct. Yeah. And that's why I truly believe that there is like the vehicle of like prophecy in this world is poetry. I really just do believe it. When you land on that simple image or that distilled droplet of truth, you're like, oh no, that's not just true in the song. Like that's a life truth.
Yes.
You're like, oh yeah, no, trust.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, I would love for everyone to learn where they can find more about you, whether you have a website or social media presence. And I know we're not necessarily in a place where, we're doing live concerts again on any kind of circuit. But maybe for the future, where people can keep tabs on you and your music and what's evolving, and certainly like what's going on with your acting careers. But where can people find you?
So if you would like to find more of my music and stay up to date on what I do, I have a website, most straightforward way, which is chloeksings.com, my name in the word sings.com. When I start playing shows again, I always post all the shows there and any new releases. And then you can also, through my website, find direct links to all the different platforms where my album is. So you can hit the little Spotify icon or the Amazon icon or the Tidal or, whatever it is that you use, Google Play. The album's on all those. Or you can try to find it if you want. That'll be a little tougher, but you can you type in Chloe K that time, it'll come up. And I also have a Facebook page, which is probably the best way to find out about shows. And then I have an Instagram if you do that, and that is Chloe K Verse, like the verse of the song or poem.
Nice. How about you, Skyler?
All of my music is on either my band has not recorded any of our original music yet. That is something that my brother and I are texting about today. To hopefully, it was supposed to be this summer that we were gonna do that, and the world ended. Yeah. So we were talking with a friend of ours who lives in Nashville, who went to school with my brother for music production.
Nice.
So hopefully at the beginning of next year, really be able to do something like that. But we have a Facebook and an Instagram where you can keep up with all of us, and that's 100% where we're going to post about shows. And every now and then my brother or myself will record a little ditty and post it on there for you. And that's just my brother Skyler, spelled just like you see here. I guess right there. That's a common misspelling is Skylar, but I am an ER. So you look up My Brother Skyler on Facebook, you'll find us. My Brother Skyler, I think, is just the handle on Instagram. I don't think it's anything fancy. But otherwise, like I said, we don't have any music out there right now, but plenty of videos of me and my brother singing songs and being goofy. So.
That's fantastic. You said the album title was This Time or That Time?
That Time.
That Time. I'm going to put that there for everybody.
Yes. Perfect.
Fantastic. Well, I, again, am so grateful to have had the opportunity to work on Barbara's Blue Kitchen with the both of you. And as we, again, navigating this great pivot and figuring out how do we turn a live theatrical venture into something that has some life and some connection through a camera. And I think we found a lovely little hybrid, and I hope that people have an opportunity to go and see the show. If you haven't seen it yet, or you want to watch it again, you can find information at auroratheatre.com, and you can make a ticket purchase, and the box office will send you a link to our Vimeo account where you can have access to that digital content. If you like what you've been seeing, if you like what you have experienced this evening, tell a friend about it. And the beauty is, as we've all been talking about really over the last couple of months, and something that I am so appreciative of, and something that's really kind of firing me up about this new evolution in terms of content, is access, just increasing accessibility, and these barriers of entry that we may have encountered before. And for many of us, it simply was not being in the same place, not being able to travel and go see a son or a daughter, or somebody in a show. At least for all intents and purposes, what we're doing now, that doesn't exist anymore. And so the ability to be able to get the work out and get eyes on it, both relational eyes within our own circle, but even those who might be interested and have no construct or concept of who you are as individuals, maybe have no idea what Aurora Theatre is, but they heard about something or stumbled upon it, or whatever the case might be. So I'm very excited about that prospect. So for those of you that are joining us tonight, please tell 5 or 10 friends, family members about the work, and we hope that we will get to chat again. We have another Zoom webinar coming up on Sunday, which is technically our closing digital day for Barbara's Blue Kitchen, where we'll be chatting with the creator, Lori Fisher. And she is going to be telling us all about the inspiration for the play. She, of course, is a singer-songwriter in her own right, and will be sharing a little bit of music with us, and some of the inside scoop behind the creation of Barbara's Blue Kitchen. So we hope to see you then. Otherwise, I hope everybody has a great evening. Thank you, Chloe and Skyler, for joining us and taking your time. Thank all of you for taking the time to join us as well. All right, we will see you later. Have a good night, everybody.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.